So, my friends, welcome to another stock analysis. Today we're talking about Google, or rather Alphabet, the stock that's also in my portfolio and has been requested quite a few times in the Telegram group. That's why today we're going to take a closer look at it, discuss my long-term outlook, where I see good entry points, and where I think the correction potential should come to an end. You'll find out all of that in today's update video. If you enjoy the video or have other stock suggestions, feel free to write them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'd say go ahead and give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange, aside from stocks and individual shares, I can only recommend my partner exchange, Binx. The link for that is also down in the video description. Right now, you can get up to 11,500 USDT. So, let's take a look at Google stock, which has seen a solid inflow over the past few days. Currently at $177, it's already being added to my portfolio through a savings plan, actually, I think every 2 weeks. Of course, you can set all of this up yourself. I think by now there are so many options with all the different providers, whether it's Scalable, Trade Republic, or whatever else. For me, it's definitely being invested in every 2 weeks. But here, I'll probably start gradually selling off a few shares again. Why? If we assume that a crisis is coming, we obviously don't know if a crisis will actually happen. Everything could still drag on for months or even years, I'd say, before it actually happens. Still, you want to be prepared for certain situations. A stock like Google isn't necessarily the most crisis-proof or crisis-resistant stock. To be fair, we have to say most crisis-resistant stock, because here too, a lot depends on advertising revenue and so on. Of course, everyone knows Google, but Google makes its money mainly through advertising and other things. And especially if a crisis does occur, that's usually where the first cuts are made, including in staffing and so on. We all know that. So, that's why I currently assume that, for now, things will stop for us up here at the golden pocket. That's this price range from 182 up to maybe 187, 188 US dollars. That's where I'll take my first small profits. My last purchase was back here during the dump down here. When we saw that big correction from our all-time high, it instantly dropped by 32%. So that was definitely worth buying. And since then, we've seen another rally of almost 25%. So the whole move, at least in percentage terms, has almost completely reversed. We're not back at all-time high levels yet. That's why, for me, there are currently two options. I'm going to sell a first portion here, 25–30%, just to take some profits out of the whole stock. If we hit resistance here again, I rather expect that we'll fall back somewhere between the price range of $145 down to even $127. That's our major golden pocket, and by major golden pocket I mean from our low at $83 up to our high at $208, then all the way back down here. So for me, this means there's definitely a bigger buying opportunity here, from the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level down to the golden pocket level. We would have to determine the next zones separately. Theoretically, those would be here at the 0.786 level. But at the moment, I just wouldn't go that low. That's why, for now, everything from the 0.5 level down to the golden pocket is a buying zone. We are definitely in a strong upward trend. We can just look back at the history for that. Since 2014, this thing has really only gone in one direction. There have been one or two major corrections. Once here, during the corona dump of course, and then the second time here, when interest rates were pushed up and there were inflation concerns, but since then, it's been going up again. That's why it's pump, retrace, pump, retrace. That would be the most bullish scenario here, and in the long term, we have to see where the correction actually leads. If the correction really goes down here, then we could already, let's say, pull up the FIB level for that. So that would also fit pretty well with the trend FIB, right down here in this area with the one level FIB. That is, if the correction actually happens down here, as I said. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Now I removed too much. Can we quickly undo that here for a moment, before I have to redraw everything? So, if the correction does actually happen down here, this would be the option for our next target zones, definitely in this area, definitely an all-time high. And the next zone would be 235 or even up here at 290 US dollars. But as I said, those are prices that could happen over the longer term, so I wouldn't count on that just yet. But for me, these are the buying zones, and this is the first selling zone. If, contrary to expectations, we shoot above the all-time high again or go above the golden pocket here, I will then take out another 50% at the all-time high. It's the same thing I keep saying about the Nasdaq right now, all-time high and then a dump, just to liquidate people, and then just let the remaining 50% of the position run, in case we do end up moving into higher territory and even pump towards 250 or 260 US dollars. Those are my current plans. Like I said, I'm not going to exit this stock completely, the way I did with Coinbase for the most part, but instead just take some profits, just like we do from time to time in the crypto market. In my opinion, that definitely makes sense here. Other than that, there's not much to say here. That's my plan. As I said, I'm running this on an automatic investment plan, but I'll definitely take advantage of bigger buying opportunities like down here. Feel free to share your opinion in the comments. What do you think about this, or in general? Do you have this stock in your portfolio or not? Write it down in the comments below, and otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. I wish you a great day. Take care of yourselves. See you, bye. And as always, stay crypto.